trucking on, and I'm trucking on. Move her on down the line, another town will do me fine. I'm trucking on, I'm trucking on.
Jason Burt,
Howdy.
welcome back to Truckin' On.
Glad to be back.
We are recording live at the Chateau Marmont in Hollywood, California.
Bango.
Nicotine.
Lip pillow. Thank you. Grazie.
I have a Stella 0.0 non-alcoholic beer. This show is brought to you today by Velo nicotine pouches, peppermint, which are illegal in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Is that right?
100%.
And I brought them from Dallas, and here at the hotel, they keep the finest Stella 0.0 non-alcoholic beer on tap, and appreciate that.
It's also endorsed by my absolute caffeine high from that nitro brew we were blasting.
We did. Man, we used to get wild in our younger years, and now we're on nicotine pouches nitro brew.
Yeah.
And
it's
non-alcoholic beer for me.
Energy drinks and nicotine pouches from now on.
We had dinner here where we just recorded a hit song together.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your geniusness at work.
My pleasure.
So fun. I haven't seen you in real person in 2 years. And so that's when you moved to Los Angeles from Dallas.
Yeah. Big play on my part. I just buckled up and rolled out. We were on my honeymoon, and Mac was like, "Do you really want to go back to Dallas?" And I was like, "Not particularly. What were you thinking?" And she said, "On the count of three, tell me where you would go." And on 1, 2, 3, I said New York, and she said LA, and mommy's always right. So here we are.
That's right. I like the choice of LA. If I was in your shoes, that's what I would do.
Yeah. It was unanimous. I mean, everybody besides me wanted me to move to LA, and I like to follow like what the universe is telling me instead of what I want. New York would have been tough, and it's been tough here because just the value gap between Texas, economics and LA economics. It's been, quite the trip, but New York wouldn't have been any easier, except for it would have been -5 degrees in the winter, and here it's 70. So
yeah, it's like snow on the ground in New York all winter this year too.
yeah, my wife would have hated it.
It would
too.
have been brutal.
It's too much to do too. Out here, you just go for a run and hang out with your partners, and not as many distractions actually, which you would think there would be a lot, but there's not.
You have a New York City attitude though. Like I can see you excelling in that culture there, whereas it's too much for me. Like I like the California vibes better than the New York vibes for just, work
100%.
culture.
As you know, when you're married, it's not all about what your vibe is too. It's like if my wife doesn't have a New York mentality, nor does she give a shit to do it or like conquer it. So, when half of who you are isn't about it, then it kind of changes. If I was in my 20s, I could do New York and sleep in my car, like no problem. But now, we got dependents. Life's a little different.
We recorded an episode in like May of 2023. So now we're in March of 2026. So when we recorded that, I don't think you were really it was a year later that you moved out here. So when did that decision come to you where it's like, we're doing this and it's happening, and how long did that take from decision to moving out here?
Yeah, interestingly enough, or not interestingly enough, but in 2023 was like kind of a gap year for me. I think we talked about that. Like I was having success with everything, but I was complacent. And then 2024 came around, and January of 2024 was kind of like the last pinnacle of like growth. Like January of 2024, I got my first like real publishing deal. I signed management, and so I obviously with the publishing deal got like an influx of money. So I've been promising my wife our honeymoon, and so we went to Italy, and that was where we had that conversation about, was the first time I've ever taken off work, period, ever. So I think, when you are like a workaholic, I think we talked about that before. It's like you're a workaholic and like you think your company's like just gonna fall to shambles as soon as you like turn your phone off. And then I'm 2 weeks into my honeymoon, and I'm like seeing that things are still like operative, and I'm like getting this like wind of understanding that like, all the things I think I have control over are really like I don't, and in a good way. And so that was when we kind of threw the idea up of potentially moving and changing markets, honestly, because again, just like referencing back and thinking about the changes. But at that point, like I was seeing a lot of success in Texas. And then over the next, year after that, I found myself working with pretty much everybody I had intended to work with. And so it was kind of like this serendipitous cross of understanding that I didn't need to be there anymore, and that if I was like starting to get comfortable, which is like never the goal with the business, personally always comfortable, but the business should always be like pushing, boundaries. And so we kind of found ourselves at the top of that boundary. And my wife is always just an advocate for my career growth. And so that's, once I realized the company could run without me and I had enough, liquidity to move around, I took the risk, and we've paid the price of the risk, and now we're starting to see what LA has to offer as far as becoming successful in this city, which is truly the city for music. And I would go to war over that. There's no bigger city in the world, but definitely not in America, that you can have the opportunity that you have here. So it's been quite the battle to like, make new friends, get new acquaintances, but the stigmas and the stereotypes of like people are like bullish and assholes here is not true. If anything, the only thing I've noticed here as like a like congruent energy amongst people is that everyone has an insane work ethic, and everyone's insanely talented. I would never like bash Texas, but the difference between how many talented people I work with on a weekly basis isn't even close to what I was working with on a 6-month basis in Texas. Like I see so many talented people. Everyone comes here to like make something of themselves, and the people who are working really hard are untouchable at their craft. So it's been nice to get the humility from being around like people who are blowing me out of the water, and then also having people to like really learn from that are doing on the same path as me. Because as we get older in any path, we realize that our path is like not that individual. Like there's like tons of people on it, but different circumstances and different ecosystems can show you that more. And to me, Texas was like, I was just gapping away from finding people who wanted to work as hard as I did. And then I moved here and got the immediate reality check that like, it's not like that everywhere, right? Like, so you come here and you're like, everybody's dialed and ready to go and ready to work for 8 hours. So you have to then be dialed. So that's been fantastic.
Tony Robbins says proximity is power, and like just being in the proximity of successful people if you want to be successful.
Totally.
Or you could also go like, if you want to be a drunk at the bar, go like you're going to hang out with drunks at the bar. And when I played music and toured and stuff when I was in my 20s, I wish that we had moved from Dallas to like Nashville or LA, one of those two places, because it would have worked either way. And we didn't do that because I think if you're going to be in the music industry and then you go be around the most powerful people in the music industry and you're in that world, then it's just a matter of time before you start feeding off that energy because you're in direct contact with it.
100%.
And you can do it in Dallas. It's just not as easy.
Well, you can to a limit. Every market has a peak. And it was between Nashville and LA for me, of course. And I've seen a lot of people come and go, and then I've seen a couple people go and conquer, and just trying to compare myself to them and their work ethics and stuff like that. I mean, Nashville was definitely on the table, but I just personally didn't want to go and only make country music.
You're genreless as a producer, basically. Like you can do anything,
I
or you're omni-genre,
Yeah,
should I say?
for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. The goal has always been to have, records in multiple genres, and I just foreseen that if I move to Nashville and try to break through this scene there, then it will be to make pop country records, which is dope. And those guys are seriously insane at it. It's just there's you're not gonna make pop records, you're not gonna make rap records, and you're not gonna make house music. And those three like are very important to me. It's like I can make country music for 3 months straight for sure. But if I couldn't at the end of the 3 months work on house music for a month, it would just become redundant or not. Yeah, redundant to me. Not saying that it is to anybody else, but it's just like the ability to switch genres and go, I think I even said this last time, is like Tuesday work on some country records, Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday night go to a rap session, and then Friday night DJ a club, and then Saturday, like be able to do and be boundless a little bit keeps my like ADD brain in its pockets safely instead of bursting the bubble.
Yeah. So that's interesting about the people. It's not really interesting, and it's not surprising. Just like the work ethic you see here with people. And it seems like in a place like Dallas, there's just a lot of people doing music that are doing other things also. At least when I was in the scene, and I know you're working with people that are doing it full time in Dallas when you were there, but it's like coming out here, these folks are moving out here for the same reason you are, and they're just serious, and they're working all day.
And it's not
every
even
day.
necessarily just, it's the thing that's true about that I didn't resent, but like didn't enjoy. It was all Dallas musicians and Dallas artists. So you're like every 2 years you're working with the same set of people again. Whereas like since I've lived here, I have like four really good Australian friends that go back and forth between UK and Australia, and then they also live here and they make house music. And then like 90% of the rest of the people that are from here, they're not born and raised here. You meet the born and raised LA people, but you get a lot of different culture, which changes everything about the music. Whereas like there's like this kind of conscious indoctrination in Texas of like, we're all born and raised in Texas, and like we make Texas music, and like if you're like outside of those bounds, it's like very gatekeepy, but they're like to me, like, and I just, whatever, but I don't want to like offend anybody from Texas, but it's just like they're not gatekeeping much anyways. So it became boring and non-diversified.
Yeah.
And here diversity is like the name of the game.
So explain to me, like, you got a publishing deal. So is that like a deal where you write song? I'm not super familiar with what that means. It's always
pretty basic structuring. It's so when you get like a couple big songs or whatever, everybody wants a publishing deal because basically they just let you borrow money, and it's like, it can easily be a lot of people's like biggest check ever, because you write a big song and then they're like, you're gonna write more big songs, so here's like X amount of money, and then they take 50% of your publishing until you recoup it. Yeah. And so this deal particularly, like I said, I was getting an offer from Nashville from a big country publisher, liked it, and then some other things went down, and I got an offer from a broader company that does like more genres of music and is bigger, and they paid me a bunch of money, which I'm still going to be recouping for a while. And basically they're like on the line hooking you up with like new artists to work with and stuff. I've actually found that the publishing deal is almost more beneficial to me than the management deal as far as like generating new avenues of income or opportunity. So they're just like on my email literally every day, like, this person's coming through LA. Do you want to work with them? Do you not want to work with them? This is where they're at. It's really, really functional and amazing. It can also be a hole too. It's just, writing records that make money is honestly really hard. So you have to make money. You have to be profitable in your songwriting in order to recoup those deals. So it can also be like pretty hectic too once you start getting like into it, because basically they're just loaning you money and then taking your money until you recuperate it.
Yeah, and that is pretty cool, like, because they really just they have to believe in you wholeheartedly and know this guy's got the work ethic, he's got the talent and the creativity, he can deal with all kinds of different artists, so we're going to make a big bet that we're going to use our connections now and just send him as much as possible to try to get as many balls in the air as possible, right? And
Totally,
then,
like 100%. And that was like the first, again, like with moving and how they're all kind of in synchronicity of each other, is like, that was the first moment where like somebody nationally outside of Texas, so it's like in Texas, they'd be like, you'd have like lots of finance guys or like richer guys who like see you doing well and they're like, how can I help you? I'm like, money is like not going to do as much good as like an email address or a phone call, And so getting a publishing deal from a company based out of New York and the UK was like the first time that someone had like put their money where their mouth is outside of like my ecosystem. So it gave me like it inspired me a lot, and that was like, when New York gives you money and then you take it to LA, that's a good thing, right? Like, I'm going to take this money and move myself to a bigger market so that, the next time that I'm in a position, I can turn that check into a bigger check, hopefully, and not just like coast it out, because I could have easily just bought a house and just chilled in Dallas and kept doing what I was doing.
I think success in any business, confidence is required, and it can disappear so quickly in any business when you're an entrepreneur. But I feel like doing music is a battle, like with
maintaining confidence.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, it's great you have them believe in you, and then it's like, okay, now I gotta go and make them keep believing in me. But like keeping your head.
And as soon as they don't like respond to the first you like send them a song and they don't respond for 2 days, you're like, I've lost it, I'm fucked, and everything's trash now, and like they're just gonna write me off, and they're not gonna give me any more opportunities. Luckily, mine Andreas Rizek at Ultra is like, he's incredible, and he knows like I'm kind of like all over the place, so I will send some stuff where he'll be like just send like a trash can emoji or something like that. But then also, it's interesting because you don't know what happens after you send the music over, and I'm like so controlling. I'm like, tell me everyone you sent it to and what their responses were so that I can like, but obviously that's completely unhealthy, especially when you're making literally five songs a week. I made 100. I don't want to blast it out, but I think I made 110 songs last year. So you're sending 20 songs a month, and they have 10 other people, so they're listening to, plus they're listening to everything. So they're like blasting through. It's like you have to like always remember how you felt when you make it, right? Like, and out of those 110 songs, I think like 30 of them are even worth showing people. Are the other 70 better than a lot of people's music? Probably, but in the same breath, are those 70 worse than a lot of people? Yes, as well. Like 30 great songs in a year, I feel like, as just by myself. That doesn't include like producing or like records I made or whatever. That's just like 110 songs I wrote by myself, produced, and like was able to send over. And of those 110, I think 3, 4, 5 are being used.
Yeah.
So that's a 5% conversion ratio of like success. Hopefully I'd like to lower that big number and raise that small number this year to like kind of concentrate. And I think until you've made that much material in a year, because like I've always worked, everyone that knows me knows that I will work.
You're a workhorse.
I will work very, very hard, but to generate that much content, content like for yourself is when you can really start to like interrogate your process and like garner the idea of like, is this going to be a song worth pitching? And like the thing about that is like worth pitching doesn't necessarily mean like great song. Because I have really cool songs that like I would play in my car for people who've had 2 beers that like I wouldn't pitch, right? But like because they're really cool. And then making a really cool song that's also pitchable for an artist is like another thing that I wanted to come out here and try to understand, because like the general consensus of the public is like, oh, pop music is like trash and it's like it's unlistenable, but actually creating something worth listening to that's unique and a pop song and could be for like an artist who's like existing, who already has every of the greatest songwriters around them, right? Like, so how are you going to make something that's going to like be interesting enough? Is it like, are the sounds unique and, or are they nostalgic? And then can you put together a verse that gets you to like, it's so much and so hard. So it's like after living here for a little while, I have started to not only really appreciate pop music, and I'm talking about Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, like they're badass, and people who don't like them, that's fine. Like you can call it what you want, but it's like not cookie cutter, because there's no cookie cutter for that. They're extremely talented. They have some of the best songwriters, and it's like just because things repeat, people are like, oh, it's boring, like or whatever. Not to me anymore. Like being able to build those structures is like an extreme skill, and being around people who can do it over and over again is like super interesting to me, because it's like you're always in the sand trap, and like some people can just pitch out of that thing and put it within 5 feet of the cup every time, and some people have amazing it's just the same thing. You have to get really consistent at being in a really tough spot, and getting out of it successfully is honestly,
dude. And there's something about it, like once you get, because they were all in that same place at some point too.
Yeah.
But it's like when you get out, and then you get that confidence. Like you get 2 hit songs in a row or something, and it's like
100%.
boom, the chances of writing a 3rd hit song is like it's got to go from 5% to 98%.
I hate to compare it to baking a cake, but dude, like like just because you're putting a bunch of sugar and milk in a bowl doesn't mean your cake's gonna come out perfect every time. But once you make a perfect cake, you're like, okay, I know how to do it. And then you do it 3 times in a row, and you're like, all right, these are the things that have to happen. Like no distractions, can't accidentally put too much baking. So like the little things that that I think amateurs and even semi-professionals like miss a lot, is like having your like whole little thing right and repeating the recipe, but then this artist doesn't like chocolate, so I got like manipulating the cake in like the proper way every time, and always serving a good cake. May not be someone's favorite cake, but like at least when you're sending something over, it's going to be like super high quality and something worth listening to. It's exactly true. And then people who go on like long runs of having hits over and over and again is because they like created the recipe. Like I like to talk about the Black Keys, like how they like took over the commercial market with like truck commercials and stuff. Like, so they're making this sound. It's their sound. There's nothing to change about it. And it starts making money, right? And then they can just assembly line those songs, right? Or you have like someone like Max Martin, who's obviously incredibly talented, but like his song structuring became pop music. So therefore, like everyone was trying to do what he was doing, and all he had to do was just repeat his same recipe until the market was like, all right, we're tired of the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears. But until then, I'm taking as many artists as I can that can sing, and they're going to do my structure format until it reaches. And so you're repeating. Same thing with Charlie Handsome in country music. It's like when you're making Morgan Wallen and Post Malone, and like that's your sound, and it's the biggest sound in the world, you can do it to every artist that trickles down can take that sound too. So you're just like basically printing money at that time. It's not like you went and you created this like really unique sound and it blew up. It's like, this is what you've been doing. And I think like a lot of the times people who are close to me are like, they say, if you just keep doing what you're doing, when it catches on, then you'll be able to do it tenfold. Instead of like when I first moved to LA, I was like trying to make music like everybody else out here. So the first 6 months were a null of like, I'm trying to make music to fit in with LA. And then I'm like having this, paradox where I'm like, fuck, just do what you were doing and it'll make you individual, and the people who come will want you. Don't try to do what someone's been doing for 10 years out here that's already worked just to be LA, you know?
Yeah. We at dinner the other night, we were talking about your Instagram, and I was thinking about it because as a music producer, songwriter, you're in the world of music, that it's just a different thing. So like for me in commercial real estate, I don't have to be cool. Like I just have to know my shit about commercial real estate. So I can almost be nerdy and post on LinkedIn and do like, I just can just totally not have to worry about anything, which is great. But if I'm promoting my music or something, like, and I put that hat on, and I wear both of those hats to a degree. I mean, one is obviously my 20-year career, and one's like a hobby I'm super passionate about. But it's like it's like scarier to go put myself out there about my music than it is about commercial real estate. And that is this crazy like fear mechanism that's built into my brain around music that I don't have with commercial real estate. And it's obviously like I have way greater success, in commercial real estate, like at least from a money standpoint. And then music, I think when I was touring and stuff, I had way more confidence about promoting it because that was my life. But now that I'm doing real estate all the time, and then I put on the music hat, but music is, you just kind of like want to be cool, and then like figuring that out and how to promote it.
I think the subjectivity is kind of the bottom line of it, right? It's like, it's hard to promote something that's subjective. It's a little harder to promote something that's subjective than it is, than it is to where like, if you're making money doing real estate, it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks. And I think, with, bigger artists or artists who have, developed a little bit more that, and I'm not saying it's whatever, but if you're making lots of hit records, it's easy to go on there and be like, look, here's another record I'm making, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, that's the kind of the struggle of like, you're always only as good as your like last good song you made. And so when new things are coming in, it's like, I tend to be weary of like putting it in front of my audience whenever I can test audience without, like saying, hey, I did this, So it's like, we were talking about that, and my built-in fear mechanism of like being more like social media. My presence on social media is like just a lack, and when I'm like teed up and like feeling very, boisterous, like some of the stuff that I say and do is interesting, but for the most part, it's like the unparalleled like self-doubt is just kind of like lingering around, and like, so it's been tough. But I did think about that after dinner, because you guys hyped me up so much on that, and I was like, yeah, it would be nice to add some additional risk and also just potentially see how people would react, and like what I would do on there. But what we were talking about, which was like my fear, and not to like double down on it, is like being misinterpreted by one artist because I'm like doing this thing for the other artist, right? Like, it's like why I didn't go to Nashville, because I was like, I know if I go to Nashville, I'm never going to get a pop record. That's just literally the truth. Like, it's because you make country records. Why? You can get a pop star to make a country record with you, but you can't get a country or like you can't get a, you can't switch lanes. And so it's like, I like the idea of being more ambiguous socially on social media, and then letting people who come into my house or talk to me, as we were talking about, then they can understand like my variance and make their, assessment after they understand my personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, last thing I want to do is be like acting a goofball and turn off some like super serious art. You know what I'm saying? So it's all stupid, because like when I hear myself saying it, it's all just like kind of like some primal urge to be cool, And so therefore, trying to be cool, I miss out on the opportunity to have fun and like engage.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I mean,
we're just old, bro. Bold.
But the fact that I was just talking to my mom today about, she was talking to me about her purse and she was complaining about it. I was like, Mom, I just wear a fanny pack.
Yeah.
So you should look into that. She's like, I'm not wearing a fanny pack in public. It's like, I don't know, but I just give zero fucks about wearing a fanny pack through the airport. Like that's being
but
a
will
dad.
you wearing the fanny pack and then posting it like it's cool is a little different. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
know, but is it like that's kind of the thing is I think like what's really cool is not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And just like being who you are authentically. And I do think that that's gone a long way for me on my like social media world is, and it took me a long time to get this podcast has helped with that, but to share, it was easy to share. I am commercial real estate guy. That was like my first time like really working social media. But then I do that and I'm like, well, I also am Mr. Spirituality guy and I'm also Mr. Music guy.
Yeah.
And then to share those things was a lot scarier for me outside of the real estate for whatever reasons. But because this podcast is, I didn't know it would happen, but because I talk about this stuff on here all the time, it's enabled me to start sharing that. And if anything, it's just helps me with my own shame problem, you know, because now it's like, it's out there. So everybody knows I'm a weird guy and I'm into all of this shit like really seriously and really deep. And it's not, I'm not just like this commercial real estate person. And I think like every person I know is like that. And everybody has these like all these sides to them, but it's hard to fully share and be every side of yourself. Am I making sense here?
No, like, you totally are. And yes, all that honestly, like it's in theory sounds so amazing and freeing. And then I'm like, again, I'm not throwing up blocks. I'm just throwing up like how I feel about it to kind of, you know, to get it out on the table, because hopefully if anything I get from this is like, I go home and I'm like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
You know,
me too, dude. Me too. I'm right there with you, man.
It's like, there's a difference between like giving a guy $10 at the gas station when you walk out, and then there's a difference between like pulling your phone out and filming it. I'm not saying that that's what I would use it for, but like when you're free to not give a fuck immediately once you add the phone in to film yourself not giving a fuck, then what dichotomy is that creating? You know, it's like, but the truth is, the answer to my question is like, it should be a free flowing thing. It's just not a free flowing thing to me yet, right? I would love to like just do the stupid shit that I do in front of my friends and put it on the internet. And like when my wife has filmed me do funny stuff, I love to put it up and be like a jackass.
Yeah.
But like when I'm sitting here like dead sober in the middle of the day, I'm like, do I really like that? You know, or do I like that people think I'm funny?
Yeah. And I noticed that because I looked at your Instagram after we had that conversation and noticed that you have a lot of stuff with Mackenzie on there, the goofy stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's almost like Matt gives you like this confidence to post that stuff. It's like, it's okay because I'm here with my wife. So it's like
100%.
this thing.
And I also 100% know that anything with her is going to have like way higher engagement because
she's way better looking than you. Yeah.
Well, she has what do you say, the Instagram face, like, and it's true. Like, there's nothing more disheartening than like posting a video of like you and your girl dancing in the street and it like getting like 10,000, 20,000 views. And then you're like, here's me, you know, saying like, here's, you know, this new song and here's the music for it. And it's got like, it like practically gets deleted by Instagram. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
All right. Or you're like half buzzed. I know you're not, but like I'm like half drunk and I'm like going on like a spill in my house and like my wife like videos it and puts it up and it like blasts off on there. And then like 2 weeks later, I've spent 7 days on a song and they're like, we're releasing it. And I'm like so psyched. And I'm like posting this video that they made that's like incredible. And I'm like, yes, everyone go check this out. And it's like 5 views. You're like, all right. I think if I was going to use Instagram, it wouldn't even have anything to do with music at all. It would just like be a subsidiary because I couldn't deal with the like the perpetual swing of the doubt, and then one day you post a video and it's like you're like, all right, this song is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this, it's like the double-edged sword. Like, if I post this, am I a douchebag? Am I a douchebag if I'm too scared to post this?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Either way, you're
the
fucked.
dichotomy just bashes itself in the
Yeah.
in the just meets it perfectly. And then for me, I'm just like, just God. Well, I was gonna ask you this. Okay, so with all that being said, so when you started to utilize social media, how has that monetized at all for you?
Oh yeah.
It has.
Oh yeah.
Like, people have come and asked for stuff because of stuff you've done on Instagram?
Oh yeah.
See, fuck.
Because, and here's the thing, like, this podcast is a great example, but all my social media, I am me. Like, I'm real. And the captions I write are like straight from my heart. And that can be about commercial real estate stuff, or it can be about alcohol addiction, or whatever the stuff is I'm talking about on whatever day. But people, I think, through the posting, they see I'm like consistent. I try to do it in a consistent manner. I tell the truth. Like, I'm super honest about even like when tough things happen, and like I share all of that very openly. So I think that creates like this honesty, and then they kind of get to, like, I post a lot of stuff like, here I am in LA at Chateau Marmont, and like all like kind of traveling around and stuff, but they know, like, I'm traveling, I'm on the move, like I'm out there doing, I'm not just like lounging, I'm always creating constantly. So then I think, because people see that, I'm in their face all the time. So when if
that's just marketing 101.
If commercial real estate comes up, it's like, oh, Ward, he's the guy that's always like taking a selfie in a warehouse or something. But like, so that, B, then people just get to know you, and that's how we live in this day and age. It's really easy. And then, but I'm being my true self on there. So then once they do feel like they know me sometimes, and they'll reach out, and I've had that happen a lot of times, then it's like there's
some comfortability in it.
They get what they're seeing anyway. Like, when we start talking, it's like we know each other already, or they know me at least, and that's awesome.
Well, you're a broker. That's a great sell. That's honestly a great sell. And so true about, like, whenever, social media is like, we're old enough that we saw it like happen. And I remember like having this moment of like, there's people online, and there's people in real life. Like, and you go out, like, especially when Instagram first started, you'd be like, oh, there's that handle, right? Like, that's that handle. And you like know a lot about them. And when you're like doing something like what I'm doing, it can actually be beneficial, because it also opens the door for people who might be weary of reaching out because they think that you might be like more untouchable or like something like that. But most people would realize that I'm so not. And I've made plenty of money off of Instagram, even with just a small following, because people find me from whatever. But it would be better if there was more engagement, for sure. This is like a come to Jesus meeting podcast. You're like, you're not going to get anything out of it except for I'm going to go home and start an Instagram and have a bazillion followers. Like, thank God for that podcast.
That's right. Yeah, man. And what was I going to say? Oh, so shifting gears, we talked about this a little bit, but like, the Dallas music scene for me, I like quit playing in a band and started doing commercial real estate. Like, I'm going to die if I stay in the music industry. Like, I just partied so hard, and we were playing, I was not like a producer like you, working in the daytime. So I only played shows at nighttime, and just getting home late, and then hanging out in the scene when I wasn't playing shows with other musicians, staying out until the crack of dawn every night of the week. This is in my 20s, of course. So it wound up working, basically, because you have to be up at 7 o'clock in the morning and start working or whatever. Then life changes, and you just can't continue. And I still partied pretty hard for another decade after that, but moving out here, and also when you were home, you were DJing a lot in Dallas. So But when you moved out here, you've told me like you've lost weight, you feel way healthier, you feel better. Tell me all the stuff you said about LA. We were sitting outside and you're like, dude, when you come here, it amplifies you.
Well, the truth was and it's all kind of in the same breath of like, you are who you're around, right? You're like, you are your 5 best friends. And yeah, I was like kind of on a journey to evacuate what you were, mentioning, which was just like feeling like I needed to be out all the time, because that was the social currency before. It's like, if you don't go to someone else's show, they won't come to your show. And if they, and like, you're just trading, right? And wanting to get out of the trade and wanting to have a product that was selling enough to where I didn't have to do the trade bargaining, the social bargaining anymore, which is like, when I came out here, I knew I was not going to do that. No social bargaining. Like, I'm not going to go out to clubs every Thursday, Friday night, Saturday night, so that I can eventually meet the owners, so that then I can like, get them to, so that I can then play the club. It's like, that's going to take way too much time. So I moved out here with the intention of literally locking myself in my studio, most expensive studio I've ever paid for in my life, because LA, my rent is so expensive. But, when I moved out here, the immediate, thing was, we're not going out. And then you go out a couple times and you're like, you realize it's obviously nicer and cooler, and there's more like beautiful people, and they're spending more money, and there's more nice cars, and it's all very exciting. But I mean, the LA treatment, coming down to like answering your question, the LA treatment is, from what I've heard and from what I now understand personally, is like, it amplifies like your inner being. And my inner being was telling me to like calm down and get in shape and work like on myself. And then I was doing that for 2 years. And you knew that too. I was like losing weight. I was like getting in shape. I was slowing down my drinking, stopped doing drugs. So sad. I hate that we both did so much drugs, but it is part of what it is, And then I moved out here and it was like, ka-ching, dude. Oh my God. Like, it's like going for a run doesn't seem like a chore. It's like, oh my God, like right now outside, bro, take me on a run. Let's go hike 8 miles.
Yeah.
So easy. And I also felt like when I moved here, there was like 2 days in every day, like the morning, and then like you could do like 6 hours of work and then go do one of those activities and then come home and be like, shit, should we start day 2? Whereas in Texas, it just never felt like that, because especially in the summer, it's like so hot that if you go out and like, if I went and ran 5 miles in the summer in Texas in the middle of the day, I'm done. I mean, I know people do it and they're more power to them, but it's not conducive.
Yeah.
Here it's conducive. Like if you can go work out in the middle of the day or go for a hike. And I mean, it's just, you want to take your dog on a long walk. 2 mile walks turn into 5 mile walks all the time.
And it's an age thing too. So
Totally.
You're 37. I'm sure your peers that you're hanging with in the studio, a lot of them probably came out here to do what you're doing when they were 22 years old, and were probably like going out and partying a lot. Now, then they like tone it down. So it's almost awesome to just step into this world, like being a mature in your career, where you have that.
Yeah.
And you have enough connections where you can get plugged in. It's not like you're just coming out here and don't know anybody.
Yeah, no doubt. But it's like, I could literally write a memoir about the last 18 months of my life, because of how everything except for like just becoming, like the biggest producer in the world or whatever has like come true. Everything I've wanted from this state so far, it has given me. And it's a clean mirror reflection of who you are. There's no like noise or distortion on like on understanding who you are on a daily basis here. It's so easy to be true to yourself.
Well, for you, right?
For me.
Like there's plenty of people here that have major distortions living here.
1,000%.
Like anywhere.
1,000%. Thanks for correcting me.
But I feel like that can be amplified too. It can be like the brightest to the brighter, the darkest to the dark out here. Like it can get so dark.
1,000%. I mean, there's never not something to do. especially when I lived in Hollywood. I mean, I lived 2 miles from the Chateau for a while, and it was like exciting. It was exciting to sit on my couch, like just Ferraris
That's how I
driving
feel
by,
here.
and like you just like all the things, Someone's like, "Oh, I'm over here in Hollywood. I'm over here in Hollywood. Let's go here. Let's do this." And then you're like, "No," but also yes, And so it's like it's also exciting in that one of the other like differences of just like being able to step outside. When I was living in Hollywood, you could just like go out and have dinner at 8, be home at 10, and there was like you drove a mile and you come back and then you can do something else. Whereas like I just feel like it was like in Texas, maybe this is just me personally, but I was like, just because I was bored, it was like if I go out, I'm just gonna stay out. Like there'd be no reason to come back home and like make some more music or whatever. But like if you're inspired here all the time and you're just like, okay, I'll just flip back to the house and like go work for a little while. So you're having like 3, 2, 3, sometimes 3 sessions a day, like making music, which is like pretty much the epitome of what I want my life to be. It's just, an easy flowing, day with the ability to kind of manipulate my day however I want without feeling like I'm not being productive towards my end goals.
So I have now recorded 10 songs with you after the one that we just finished today.
11 though, but we recorded 10 the first time. You just only used 9.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So 11 songs. I think of you as like an extremely efficient record producer. Like super high quality, but you also work really fast and efficient. I mean, what are the tricks there? Because I also am like a very efficient worker as well. So I like that about you. Like, let's get this thing done. And I mean, we came in here Monday with an iPhone recording, and we'll have this thing. I think we'll put it on Spotify on Friday.
It'll be finished by 4 p.m. here. Yeah, well, it'll be finished, by 6 p.m. here. Efficiency is like it's an algorithm, right? It's like, it's trusting what you're doing times the skill to do what you want to hear times repetition, basically. Like you can only be efficient at something if you know what you're doing first off. And I'm saying that, like, I'm not saying I know what I'm doing. I'm just saying that's true to this equation.
You do know what you're doing. So get rid of your shame and unworthiness, friend.
No, it's just like, yeah. Anyways, but the only way to be efficient also is to allow things you consider mistakes or imperfections to ride themselves out, and knowing like how many times something has to ping you as a problem before you fix it, and also how fast can you like repair problems, right? Yeah. It's like if I always making analogies, but music is just so intense in that way. But if I'm making a song for you, there's always like kind of the bread and butter, right? Which is like, I know for a fact I'm going to use acoustic guitars on all of your material because you write them on acoustic guitars, and I've found in life in general that if someone writes something on an instrument and then you start switching around the core instrument that it was written on, it starts to deface its creative value. So it's like, I know I'm going to have acoustic guitars. Well, thank God I'm good at acoustic guitar, because that's the first thing I'm going to do is like make sure that that's done. And, in the past, it could have taken me 4 hours to record acoustic guitar on a song for you 3 years ago. But now with that, especially with last year, it's like I'm recording that thing in 2 takes because I know what I want to hear. Bass is going to take 2 takes, and it's not going to get much better because what I hear is already going to come out. So we're like, and I'm proficient in drums. So it's like, well, as soon as I hear a song, I already know like what the drums should do. So they're like, that's the whole core of it. And then you just go get stoned and like put candy on it. Like I said yesterday, I was like, if once the drums, bass, and your rhythm instrument are like locked in, which now I can do on most tracks in 3 hours, probably all 3 of those. And then you get stoned and then you're like, maybe I'll change the snare sound, or I'll like make this drum pattern more interesting, but like the nuts of it is there. Then you can like have fun. But yeah, I think also just being in the situation of in LA, we go in at 12 o'clock, almost always the general idea of like these sessions that from the publishers, like I was telling you about, are set up. It's 3 people, 1 producer, which is me, two songwriters, and the producer also writes. So we go in at 12 o'clock, we have no song, and 80% of those sessions, we leave with a listenable finished song. So we write it, produce it, and like mixing isn't even a real thing anymore at this level. The level everyone's at, like everything's just, it sounds good all the time. Like you can mix it after, but like you get to this level that we're at this pace, it's like there's no like, all right, well I'll mix that later, because like the artist that's sitting behind you wants to hear exactly what the shit's gonna sound like. So you better
me included.
You want to hear it, and like just like today, you're like, I'm gonna redo that now that I know what this is. The only way that you're able, like, but you trust me. If you didn't, like we were talking about the trust thing, if you didn't trust me, you would have been like, it would have been hard for you to just like go about your business on the track that I made yesterday or 2 days ago in 10 minutes or whatever the fuck literally it was. You know, you're like playing to something that's like not that great. And then 2 days later come back, you're like, I would like to re-sing it. So you have to get the songs to that level for that artist. Like once you figure out what the chords are, you better be zapping and zanging and binging and banging, dude. Like you got 30 minutes, bro.
So you're doing it with this team without the artist being there, and then you prepare this whole track so that then you ship it to the artist and they come in and it's like all ready to go.
Yeah, 100%. And like the 3 of the 5 tracks that got picked up last year, they stayed almost exactly what I did. Like the song that I produced in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas in 2021, you would ask me how long it would take to produce a song, bro. Days.
Yeah.
For sure. I was also smoking pot all day, and I was also drinking. And like that, I never trusted myself. Like nothing was ever good enough. You're always looking for that, like, just smoke the joint and the drums come in, it kills me. Like I just remember like how I used to think like that drum fill like makes the song. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Shut up. That has nothing. Like it's cool, Jason, but like it like focusing on that for 45 minutes, an hour and a half, like edit, like bro, that would never slide out here, because the people behind you would be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and like it's very common in Dallas, because I've been to lots of studios in Dallas to smoke for people recording the album to be smoking weed, but out here you said it's not.
Yeah, more people smoke out here than out there for sure. But like, you're definitely not going to see something like.
No, I mean like in the studio they don't, right?
Rarely. I mean, you have to be like him. You really do, and you have to be him, and you have to know everybody to like. If you start drinking in the middle of a session, you're just roast beef, bro. No one's going to talk to you. Like, if it in the sessions I'm talking about, like you just met these 2 new people, and then you're like. That's why I don't even smoke cigarettes. Like, what the fuck I'm going to do if I'm supposed to have a track done in 30 minutes and I just get up in the middle of it to go smoke a cigarette and just leave these 2 people sitting here?
You're going to get left out.
Well, how does it look, though?
Yeah.
It's not going to look good, you know? But if you trust everybody and the session starts at 7 and like you were, we're smoking pot, but like.
It's why you need a Velo nicotine pouch when you're in the studio.
I do. Dude, trust me. It's ghost and pouches. 100%.
Yeah.
I see what you're trying to do here. Yeah. You're trying to get a little endorsement.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can have them just like sitting behind your shoulder to the ceiling.
I want free rolls coming in.
No doubt.
All week.
Don't we all? Yeah. I've switched from beer and pot to Ghost energy drinks and Zens. You know what? I'm 37, but I sound like a 21-year-old with that shit. But it's the truth, man. I fucking literally love an energy drink and a little lip pillow, bro. That's the vibe. I can stay locked in forever. These things are easy to sell because they work, dude.
My daughter convinced her mother to buy her like sugar-free Red Bull to drink at school, and I was like, Gina, do not be buying that girl sugar-free Red Bull.
Have you seen
like,
the South Park?
Betty, it's going to stunt your growth drinking that shit. It's so funny.
Have you seen the South Park where they make fun of Prime?
No.
Do you watch South Park ever?
No.
Okay, I'll spare you. It's fucking legendary, especially with energy drinks, because there's like 7,000 flavors, and it's like they're trying to collect all the different flavors of energy drinks, and like, and I mean, all their dicks are getting smaller and they're like getting shorter, but they still like have their backpacks filled with like Prime energy drinks, which is the Logan Paul thing. It's the truth, though. I mean, like the grape Ghost is literally one of the most delicious things on earth.
Yeah, I have never been an energy drink guy, so.
I got hooked on them. The
I
gym.
mean, the Nitro Brew from Starbucks is my energy drink. So coffee.
Caffeine's weird too. It's like when you switch the caffeine, like how you get it, it changed. Like Diet Coke caffeine high, unbelievable.
See, like I do not fuck with any of that. Like, just coffee.
Yeah, well, this is why I do, and it's
I might have a cherry Coke if I go to Burger House, like on 4th of July. Like once a year, I'll let myself have that, and that's really good. But I can't do that kind of caffeine. Well, it's the sugar too, and I'm not going to drink diet. I can't drink diet anything. That taste is that NutraSweet or whatever.
You get used to it, dude. I
don't want to get used to it.
With so many people. It's so funny, but like when I was trying to like get in shape, you know, I was like, any way I can cut calories is great. And then I got addicted to Diet Coke, and I was like, this shit is delicious. I've always hated it, and now I drink it, and I'm like, I love it. And then I drank a regular Coke the other day. I was like, ew. Same exact response. Like, I don't like the sugar, and I can't have, if I had a Coke, which is like 37 grams of sugar, I would freak out.
Yeah, dude. It's not a good feeling.
We are old.
I'll wake up hungover the next day if I have like a Dr. Pepper. Like my mouth will be all dry. Like my body rejects corn syrup. Thank God. I've reprogrammed it.
God, that's just like the most old people shit to be talking about.
I know, dude. You're getting old. So, what is your favorite restaurant in Los Angeles?
Easy, Damien. It's in downtown. I was gonna try to take you there, but we're in Hollywood, and it's like a fucking 45-minute drive. And I know you want to go to bed early. And I'm like, this is the best Mexican food restaurant on the planet.
Damien.
Yeah, it's like super 5-star Michelin-y Mexican food. Mexican food in California is way different than Texas, and people who say that it's not as good only because they like Tex-Mex, and Tex-Mex is booty compared to the Mexican food out here. You go to a food truck over here and get your mind blown off your body and want to steal all their salsa.
Dude, I am not on the same page with you about Mexican food being better in California than Texas. Not true. I've been here enough times to know that.
Yeah, but it's because you guys like fucking...
You guys, you're born and raised there.
Yeah, I know, and I am one. So what's the Mexican food restaurant in Texas? Isn't it say Las Palmas or something like that?
El Vecino I like to go to El Vecino.
Dude, no, you gotta go.
Chuy's. I love Chuy's.
Chuy's isn't even Mexican food, bro.
It's Tex-Mex, bro.
You've been to Mexico enough to know that that's not Mexican food.
I'm not saying Mexican. I'm saying Tex-Mex.
First off, California also touches Mexico, just a very small sliver.
I'm saying Tex-Mex is its own genre of food, which nobody can duplicate outside of Texas properly.
Agreed.
So yes,
it's just
if
like
you're talking true Mexican food,
Cisco cooked everything.
Well, like Javier's is like true Mexican food, right? Like I think of it's the closest thing in Dallas to a great like Mexico City style.
And Las Palmas, they're both incredible, no doubt about it.
You were saying Mexican. I'm thinking Tex-Mex in my mind. I was like, nothing can touch Tex-Mex.
Yeah, and that's the truth because no one else makes it.
Yeah,
it's like
it's like its thing. It's like the hit song formula.
100%. And but it's just yeah.
Man.
There's El Coyote right here. It's just like it would be just like kind of Chuy's, but like a little more elevated with like the red tufted seat vibe, you know, but you're still getting like a margarita that's like 400 ounces and you're still getting guacamole, which is like not Mexican at all. And you're getting like crispy tacos, right? Like that vibe.
Yeah.
Like that's Tex-Mex, right? It's like ground beef, shredded iceberg lettuce, really thinly sliced cheddar cheese, and like a thin salsa that's like not hot at all, right? That's like Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
100%. That they do that there, and it's incredible. Honestly, we should probably fucking go there. We should actually.
Be convinced. And this is my new favorite recording studio, and it's the Chateau Marmont.
Yeah.
Where is it? And you record. I mean, I wanted to stay here because I've never stayed here before, and then you're like, we should record there. It's like, oh yeah, let's do that. And then you were here like 2 weeks ago recording here.
I've recorded here 3-4 times if you include Paul. I'll leave out the artist until everything is like tied up. I wish I could name drop him right now, but I have like a very like ironclad deal with myself that I don't celebrate any victories until they're solidified.
Oh yeah, I totally know.
But yeah, this like this is kind of the spot. I will say this is the spot that I have come to record remotely more than any other spot in California in the 18 months that I've been here. If I've been outside of the studio to work with a big artist, it has been here. They don't want to go to a project studio. So you know, I came in here yesterday with a suitcase, the bag, 3 guitars, and it all fits in the back of my car, but we're rolling pretty deep into these little bungalows. And yeah, like I said, I've spent 2 weeks ago, I worked with a big Asian artist, and then I also recorded like a pretty big Nashville country artist in here. And sounds great, it's quiet, and you're definitely safe.
Yeah, man. It's just great vibes here. So, how many gold records do you have?
19.
That's amazing.
19. I don't remember what it was last time. I think it probably was closer to 3. And
Yeah.
I've gotten
I don't know if I got that stat. So you have 19 gold records, and you told me that your goal is to win a Grammy for being the best producer and songwriter
in the same year.
in
Yes.
the same year.
Yeah, it's a massive, unbelievable goal. That goal has been, that was once because my first goal ever musically was to make $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Wish I would have made a bigger number, because I totally hit my cap, and I was like, I made $100,000 for like 3 or 4 years in a row. It was awesome. I mean, it's so sick, dude. And I know you still have a concept of money and how hard everything is, but like 100,000, and you know, now it's not that much. Whatever, blah 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 blah. You go from making fucking $25,000 a year, you have $100K a year doing music. You're feeling pretty fucking good.
Doing commercial real estate too, buddy. That's how it works. My first year doing commercial real estate, I made like $20,000. And then, I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, it's just being an entrepreneur, like that jump is amazing. But yeah, you are also, I mean, making gold records is so cool. And I like your goal. I wanted to make sure that we vocalize it here on Truckin' On.
Absolutely.
So you heard it here,
I
ladies
feel like
and
when
gentlemen.
we check back in 2028, it might be a thing. Yeah, it's like you got to always keep your goals on a sliding scale with your success, monetarily and mentally and physically, right? It's like, you know, if you want to get in good shape, you can't, you know, if you're like, I want to lose 50 pounds, but you're getting to that 30-pound mark or 40-pound mark, you need to immediately start mentally visualizing, okay, now it's like, do I want a 6-pack, you know, or whatever. It's like, you have to slide it. I didn't slide it. I met my goal, and I was like, and I wondered why I couldn't go above, right? And then in 2022, 23, I was like, dude, I got to make bigger goals.
Yeah.
Bigger. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to make like a mediocre goal now. I'm going to make a psychopathic one, because my goal has always been to solidify myself in the industry. And that would be one finite, absolute, guaranteed way to do it. If I make a bunch more cool records and have, you know, a sliding, you know, up and down thing, if I win Producer of the Year and Songwriter of the Year at the Grammys one year, I'll be one of like 3 people to ever do it, and then you'll be solidified in music history and like get your little, like my little mental plaque of like, okay, I wanted to do music, I did it as good as I could, and I solidified myself on the plaque. I'm not gonna sit with Drake and Prince and all them, but like, or Quincy and Mark Ronson and stuff, but I'll still have like accomplished something.
Why you got to throw yourself under the bus and say you're not going to do it?
I could.
Exactly.
That'll be, you know, when I get close to that, when I have records that are, you know, I'm getting 500 million streams on them over and over, then I'll reevaluate what I want.
That's fair.
What I want to do with that success, right? But right now, I don't need to be thinking about trying to equivalate with Pharrell on production, because he's got 20 years on me. You know what I'm saying? I could have a nice run though. I could have a real nice run. I could have 5 years on the radio, 10 years on the radio. And
I'll tell you what, I'm going to get you halfway there with Best Producer Grammy for All About the DST, written by Ward Richmond. Sorry.
Yeah.
No songwriting credit. You did not negotiate it.
This is the only song I produced in the last 15 months that I didn't write. Honestly, you don't understand.
Don't worry. By the time this podcast comes out, the song will be out, and I'm going to put a link to it so you can go hear. It's just a fun thing for me to be friends with you, and we just like hit each other up on Instagram or text like what's up every now and then. And I was like, we were talking about something. You're like, you got to come out here, man, and record a song. I was like, I don't have any songs. And then 2 weeks ago, I wrote a song and then texted you like, okay, I got a song for you.
Yeah,
And
I
then
love the turnaround with Word always.
booked the hotel. We recorded the song in 3 days. We'll have it done today. And then I've really, just for the point of how crazy it is, put it up and release it on Friday so that we just manifested this in like a matter of a few weeks.
I think that's the best way. We were talking about my house because I was like, you need to come out and hang out at my house. This is an ode to you. I'm like, you come hang out at my house. I have this 6-spare bedroom and like hang out. You're like, all right, I wrote this song. I'm going to stay at the Chateau Marmont for 3 days. And I'm like, I'm going to meet you at that. And I'm going to bring my whole fucking studio over here so that we can have a Chateau Marmont. I was like, let's have a little chill thing by the pool and like eat some fruit and shit. And you're like, nah, man, I'm gonna get the Marmont and we're gonna
American spirits.
100%.
Hell yeah.
Incredible, dude.
Well, I love you, dude. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being my friend, buddy. I like this world wouldn't be the same without you in it.
Dude, my pleasure, and I've enjoyed meeting your friends as well.
Out here in LA, my LA
amazing.
crew. Oh yeah,
absolutely. Look
Beautiful
forward
people.
to more of it. Thank you so much, Ward.
Thanks for trucking on.